And Caitlin Clark front row at the Prada show for Milan Fashion Week. Obviously, Caitlin Clark has been working with Prada since at least draft.
Caitlin Clark just appeared in Milan at the Prada fashion show, sitting front row, and the internet went crazy. But this wasn't just another celebrity moment. It could be the start of something much bigger between Clark and one of the most powerful luxury brands in the world, Prada. The money and influence behind a move like this might shock you. Do you think Caitlin Clark is building the most valuable personal brand in women's sports right now? Or is someone else closer to that title? Let us know in the comments. Now, let's clear one thing up before we go any further. When Caitlin Clark walked into Fondazione Prada in Milan and took a front row seat at the Fall 2026 show, dressed head to toe in Prada alongside Olympic champion Eileen Gu, it wasn't random. It wasn't a last-minute invite or a lucky break. It was the latest step between Clark and Prada that has been growing since she entered professional basketball, and it signals something much bigger than most of the sports world realizes. Luxury fashion houses don't place athletes front row at major Milan shows out of generosity. They do it because they see long-term, serious financial value. And when a brand as selective and strategic as Prada repeatedly aligns itself with the same athlete, that's not about loaning an outfit for photos. That's the early stage of a partnership with real business potential. To understand why this moment matters, you have to look at the bigger picture, because the story goes far beyond just one night in Milan.
I went with Prada. I think Prada's like very me, very like, I don't know, I'm a simple girl, but Prada's never dressed a WNBA player or NBA player for the draft, so it's very fun. Got the simple white and then sparkly on the inside, but yeah, really fun. Got the bag, got the slick shoes, so yeah.
At the 2024 WNBA Draft, Caitlin Clark walked in as the #1 overall pick wearing a full Prada look. Not just one piece, but head to toe. White jacket, silver crop top, white miniskirt, black pointed heels, all Prada. She even told reporters that Prada had never styled an NBA or WNBA player for draft night before. She was the first, and she knew exactly what that meant. The reaction was instant. Social media wasn't just saying she looked good. The dominant comment was, Caitlin Clark is so Prada. Not because the outfit was expensive, but because the vibe felt natural. The energy, the aesthetic, the confidence, it all matched. And for a luxury brand, that kind of organic cultural moment is more powerful than any paid ad campaign. Prada understood that immediately. During her rookie season with the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark kept arriving to games in carefully chosen Prada tunnel looks that kept the conversation going. From minimalist logo pieces to full coordinated sets with classic Prada bags, the styling was consistent and intentional. Her stylist, Audrey Gurdient-Toth, was clearly building a season-long fashion narrative, and it kept pointing back to the same brand. Every game meant more cameras, more tunnel walk clips, more viral moments. Then came the Milan invitation. Clark sat front row at Prada's fall show wearing a full Prada look, even echoing the same heel silhouette she wore on draft night, a subtle callback that tied the entire story together. This wasn't random styling, it was a fashion arc, and Prada understood exactly what it signaled.
Breaking women's basketball fashion news, Caitlin Clark in custom Prada for a time event. The fact that it's simple, it's timeless, but the back makes it so special and interesting. Of course, high fashion. She's gonna be in a Prada campaign soon, though, I promise. It's Prada, so obviously the silhouette is fantastic, but this dress feels so Caitlyn in the style that we've seen from her. It's minimalist, it's classy, it's timeless. The back is a freaking moment. I love that, and I love that Prada did a custom look. Obviously, fall off more women's basketball fashion news, but what do you think of this?
Seated beside her was Olympic champion Eileen Gu, one of the most recognizable young athletes in the world. The pairing wasn't accidental. It sent a clear message about the type of athlete Prada wants aligned with its future: young, elite, culturally relevant, and genuinely engaged with fashion. Now comes the business side. The pattern is clear: exclusive draft styling, repeated public appearances, Milan invite, front row placement. In luxury fashion, that kind of escalating investment usually leads toward a formal endorsement deal. And Clark brings something rare to the table: a massive, passionate fan base that stretches far beyond the typical WNBA audience. Many of her followers came to women's basketball because of her. That audience is young and heavily female, exactly the demographic luxury brands are aggressively pursuing right now. Luxury brands know their traditional customer base is getting older. They need cultural figures who can introduce them to a younger generation in a way that feels authentic, not forced. And Caitlin Clark does that naturally. Her tunnel walk fashion clips reach millions of people who aren't even fashion fans. They watch because they're Clark fans, and in the process, they absorb her style and her brand choices. Every time she steps out in Prada, she makes the label feel relevant and aspirational to an entirely new audience. That kind of organic marketing is incredibly valuable, even before any official contract exists. If a formal partnership happens, the possibilities expand. Custom pieces, global campaigns, collaborations, even a potential signature sneaker, an idea publicly floated by Marie Claire. A project like that could generate massive revenue across fashion, sports, and collector markets. Reports discussing figures near $100 million aren't unrealistic when you consider the global reach, long-term structure, and cultural impact involved. Clark already has a major footwear partnership with Nike, including a signature shoe in development. Adding Prada wouldn't just mean another endorsement, it would place her at the rare intersection of elite athletic performance and high fashion at a scale few female athletes have reached. At the same time, the WNBA is dealing with CBA negotiations that have created uncertainty around the upcoming season. While that situation is outside her control, Clark has used the moment strategically, attending fashion shows, playing in pro-am golf events, and expanding the parts of her brand that don't depend on a basketball court. That's not distraction, it's long-term thinking. Professional careers are short, and she appears to understand that building influence beyond the sport is essential. Her front row placement beside Eileen Gu, one of the most commercially successful young female athletes in the world, reinforced that message. It highlighted the kind of globally marketable, culturally relevant athlete luxury brands are betting on for the future. Eileen Gu has built a brand that moves across sports, fashion, culture, and business at the same time, which is exactly why luxury houses value her. She can't be boxed into one category. Caitlin Clark is building toward that same multi-dimensional presence, and fashion is a key part of it. Being seen at Prada in Milan alongside Gu wasn't just about a photo. It placed Clark in a specific cultural and business context. In luxury, context is everything. Who you're seen with, where you're seen, and which brands you align with all shape the narrative of your value. Clark's narrative has been carefully built. The Prada connection began at the most visible moment of her pro debut, continued consistently through her tunnel walk fashion, and escalated to a front row seat in Milan. All signs point towards something formal and financially major, making large valuation numbers feel logical rather than exaggerated. Critics often question athletes who step outside their sport. The same happened when Clark attended the Annika Sorenstam Pro-Am event alongside Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham. But building a personal brand during downtime isn't a distraction. It's smart, long-term strategy. Athletic careers are short. The ones who think ahead create opportunities that last beyond the game. Clark seems to understand that. From draft night to consistent fashion statements to sitting front row in Milan, each move suggests she's building something bigger than basketball. The WNBA gave her the platform. Prada may be helping her build what comes next.